My name is Lisa Simmons. I am the program manager for the communities team, and I currently work with the region of Boston. And so we are very happy to have you here. We have put on the closed caption and enabled those. So if you'd like to run those while we're going through this presentation, that is available to you. We have the chat open, as you know, as well as Q&A. So if you put your questions in the Q&A, Gelmi and Hanako will be able to respond to you. And then we'll do a Q&A session after this presentation if you have any questions. And then I just wanted to acknowledge that I am coming to you from the land of the Massachusetts and the Nipmuc Nation, and we recognize that we are here as stewards of their land, and happy to have the opportunity to do that. So let us get started. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go through a PowerPoint presentation. We're going to go through as well a tutorial of the program and of the forms. So like I said, if you have any questions, please make sure that you're putting those in the Q&A, and we will get to those when we are done with the presentation. So managing LCC funds. So one of the things about, as you know, your grant cycle is getting the LCC account form from your town accountant and then putting it into the grants management system. So today we're going to talk about the account form, we're going to talk about the annual report, and then we're going to talk about sections 1 and 2, and then some of the things that you can use that can help you with tracking the accounts and the grants that come into your program, into your LCC. So as you know, we updated our guidelines for FY24. I just wanted to put this in here so that you know where the guidelines live. They are basically your Bible. You will be using those over the course of your grant cycle to help you in your decision making, help you think through your grant making, and help you with conflicts of interest. So there's a lot of really important information in there that you should take a look at as you're going through your grant cycle. So the LCC account form, before the grant cycle begins, as I said, we have sent to your town accountant or your municipal fiscal officer the LCC account form. And so if your municipal fiscal officer has not had the opportunity to go over this with you or has not received the account form, please let us know. You can let either myself know or your program officer. And this PowerPoint presentation will be sent to you, so you'll have all the links that you need. So once the fiscal officer gets an opportunity to fill out the account form, then they're going to send it to you, and you're going to meet with the fiscal officer to make sure that everything is happening the way it should, and you all agree on the money that is in the account. If for some reason you don't agree, then you should all get together and make sure that you come to some sort of resolution about what's in the account. This is a little bit of a look of what the account form looks like, but we'll take another look at it when we're going through the tutorial. So as you all know, the LCC account form needs to be completed both tabs by October 17th, 2023. And this is basically because we want to make sure that you're going into your grant meetings and you know exactly how much money you have in your account. What we don't want to happen is that you're either over granting or under granting, because you might not know that the exact amount of money that you have in your account. So as you know, the fiscal year for 2003 is what the account form is going to be capturing, which is July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. And then the second tab, which we'll go over, is what's currently going on in fiscal year 24. So fiscal years, just a definition, because they are different for different towns and different people, but for our fiscal year, we match that with the state, and it's July 1, it begins July 1st and it ends June 30th. So right now we're in fiscal year 24, but you're going to be reporting on fiscal year 23. State funds are allocations that you receive from the Mass Cultural Council, and that's any state funds you're receiving. So if you received a festival grant, if you received any mitigation funding, those are state funds. So that's what's going to go in that state funds box. And then we have locally raised funds. So locally raised funds are funds that you don't necessarily receive through the Mass Cultural Council's allocation. They're funds that could be fundraising funds. They could be municipal revenue. One of the things that we really love to see is that the municipality is supporting the LCC by either matching the LCC's Mass Cultural Council allocation or something like that, whether it's $2,000 or $5,000, that it's a line item from the municipality. So that's also considered locally raised funds. And then encumbered funds, which sometimes is confusing for folks, which we will get to when we get to the second tab of the account form, are funds that you have promised, but you have not yet, but has not yet left your account. So if you're a reimbursement council, it could be that your grantees have yet to submit their reimbursement forms. If you're a direct grant council, then it could be that your grantees have yet to send in their direct grant forms and have not yet been paid. So you are holding on to that money until they do that, because you do not want to be granting out that money. So submitting your financial report. So those are sort of some of the descriptions. One of the great things about, and we'll go into this when we get into the GMS system. One really great thing is that there are tons of directions to help you through this process. But you are submitting your FY24 financial report through the grants management system. And basically we will go through that in the tutorial, but this just is sort of gives you a written way for you to reach that financial report. So the tab 1 is the LCC account form. This is, as I said, going to give us a picture and you a picture of what happened in FY23. So what happened between July 1, 2022 and June 30th, 2023. So in that period, you did your granting, you've given out money, you've had money come in, and then June 30th, it shuts off, and this is what we see in your account. Once you've submitted this tab, once you've clicked through and said submit, you can't go in and change it. So make sure that you and the town accountant or the municipal fiscal officer are clear with the numbers that are going into this form. If there is any discrepancy, if later on you're like, oh my goodness, like we miscalculated a certain thing, then you just need to contact your program officer here at Mass Cultural Council, and they can help you make that change, but you yourself won't be able to go in and make that change. Tab 2 is the calculate amount available for granting, which is also due on October 17th. This is a change we made a couple of years ago because you still need to meet and get information from your municipal fiscal officer in order to fill out this tab. So this tab is basically what's going on in fiscal year 24. So as I said before, you may have a reimbursement council that has yet to give out all its money. Your direct grant folks have not asked for their money yet. And this will tell us how much now is left in your account. Now we've figured out in 23 what you spent, but now we need to figure out what's still pending in your FY24 account so that we can get an accurate number to what you can actually grant out in this fiscal year. One of the things that's really important, and like I said, we will go through this in the tutorial, is that save draft is basically the calculator of the grants management system. So you need to save draft in order for the forms to calculate themselves, and then you'll hit submit. So why don't we take a look at the system, and go through and make sure and see how it's going to work. So when you log on to the system and you go into smartsimple.com, this is what you're going to come to. You're going to come to your portal. So your portal is going to give you your council profile. You've done all of this. You've done your password. You've filled out your priorities and your guidelines that needed to be done by September 1st. And then your annual report has these last two things that you need to do. Right now, we're focusing on the financial report. In addition, you can also see your council applications, but today we're focusing on the financial report. So you're going to come here, you're going to click on your financial report. And as I was saying before, this is the wonderful thing about the system, is that it gives you all of these instructions. So if you ever have any question, these instructions are going to help you get through the process. If for some reason you still need more clarification, we are here as your program team and communities to help you walk through this. So when you get to this point, you're going to see right here all of the FY24 financial report. You'll also see FY23. So if you have any questions about FY23, you also have the opportunity to go back there. So we're going to go into the financial report and we're going to open it up. So you go into FY24 and basically this is what it's going to look like. So here's your summary, here's your account form. Again, here are these great instructions that are telling you what to do. So this LCC account form in the GMS mirrors exactly the account form that your municipal fiscal officer is going to go over with you. And I just want to make sure that everyone can see this on the screen. So if Hanako or Gelmi can let me know, I just want to make sure that that people are able to see this and that we're sharing both. Okay, great. So here we have this is the account form that you're going to receive from your town accountant that you're going to go over. And basically it is going to be the exact same thing that is in over here in your GMS system. So I'm just going to close this a little bit so we can do a little cut and paste. Okay, there we go. All right, so here we have the account form. So let's switch over. So in the account form, here it says box 1. So here's your beginning balance. So it really is just a cut and paste. So here's my LCC account form. I'm going to take that piece of paper or that email and I'm going to go into my GMS system and I'm going to say box one. Okay, that's $5,000. So we're going to put in $5,000. Great. And then we're going to come down. Again, it's just a cut and paste. State revenue. What was the state revenue? We are a council that just got our allocation. We didn't get any other money. We're going to put in $5,500. The $5,500 goes in here. Then the question is, did I get any municipal revenue? So in this case, the municipality gave this council $250 towards their allocation for their fiscal year in 23. Now remember, this section, this tab, this account form here is a snapshot of fiscal year 23. So then we say, okay, is there any interest income? And usually there is some interest income. So we're going to say we got $10 in interest income. And was there any other revenue? So did the local cultural council do a fundraiser? Did they have somebody donate some money? And in this case, this is a lucky LCC. They got $450 from someone saying, awesome work, you guys are amazing. And then this form here that is sent to the town accountant self-calculates. So again, it's just a cut and a paste. You're going to take the box 4 and you're going to say, okay, 6210, that was our total revenue. And then we're going to scroll up here and we're going to look and see what else the town accountant and you agreed on. In fiscal year 23, we know that we spent $4,500. $4,500 went out of the account to pay grantees. And you also had some, so then the account balance ends up being 6710, right? So the other thing I want to tell you too is when you're doing this, these question marks here help you do the calculations. If you're questioning whatever the calculation is, if you're not sure, these, you can scroll over these question marks and they will give you the actual accounting that needs to happen within that form. So if I say, how do I know what the balance is? What does that mean? It's box 1 plus box 4 minus box 5, which will equal box 6. So if there's ever any question. So this council has unspent local revenue, and you want to make sure that you put that in here, because if you don't put local revenue that you have not spent in this box 7, you cannot take it out in the next tab. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But this particular council has $700 in remaining local money. And then we move to the municipal code. So the municipal code for every LCC this year is the same. And the reason for the municipal code is to make sure that that you are meeting with your town accountant and that you are both agreeing on what the amount of money in this system, in your system is. So we're going to put that in, and then this is the part where we want to make sure we know who the fiscal officer is in case we need to contact anybody. You're going to put the town accountant's name, which they will have filled out here and done the certification. The title, whether they're the accountant, the fiscal officer, whatever that is, their email address, just in case we need to get in touch with them. We're going to click that the section is complete. And then this is where the LCC member who's co-signing and working with the municipal fiscal officer will put in their name, and then we just need a confirmation email address. So here I'm going to hit save draft, and we're all set, but we're not, because the only way for the calculate amount available for granting to show up is for you to submit this form in order for the other tab to show up. So you're going to hit submit, and anytime in this GMS program, when you hit submit, it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to proceed? And in this case, it's going to say yes, and you'll see what happens. So we hit that button, and now we see this new tab, calculate amount available for granting. So this is where we move over to learn about what's been happening in the account in fiscal year 24. So this is where, when you meet with your town accountant or your municipal fiscal officer, that they have received both of these tabs in the LCC account form. And that is because you are going to need some of these numbers from them in order to fill out the calculate amount available for granting. Again, we have great instructions if you get stuck, if you're not quite sure what you're supposed to put in these slots. And then the other great thing too is that if you want to do this offline, we have links to log sheets and things that can help you work through the financial part of this. So one of the things, this date here is important. So let me just scroll down. So now we're in the second tab that says calculate amount available for granting. You're getting this from your municipal fiscal officer, and the balance is going to carry over. So that will automatically be in there. And then you are going to be asked, what is the report should include all account activity July 1st to this date. Oftentimes this is filled in with 6/30. This isn't the end of the prior fiscal year. This date is the date that you and your town accountant have met and have made a decision about the fiscal 24. So in this case, if you met with your financial, your municipal fiscal officer on the 27th, let's say yesterday, this is the date you're going to put in here, because this is the date that's going to tell me this is the amount of money that left the account from July 1 to September 27th. So we just need that period in FY24 of activity in the account. Okay, so we're saying we met with the accountant and we're putting this information in as of 9/27. So here we have box A, and again, the form will mirror the GMS system. So we have box A, which we know is 6710. We spent, let's see. So we spent since July 1 until this date, $2,300. That's great. And again, it's going to tell you, if you scroll over the question mark, it's going to give you that. And then it's going to ask you how much money is in the account that has not been spent yet, but that has been promised. So that's all going to be in your ledger and your town account. You're going to have that amount of money. So in this case, there's 2,500 left over because we have these folks that have not given us their information yet. Then box D, which we come back over here to look, and we say, okay, do we have any other local revenue? This is not the money that you received in fiscal year 23, but perhaps since July 1st, you've received a donation, or the municipality has decided we're going to, we have some extra funds, we're going to give $1,000 to the council. That's where this money would go in. This is additional revenue that you've taken in fiscal year 24. So in this case, we're going to say in box D, it's 0. So it's a cut and paste. So then you hit the save draft button. So we're going to hit save draft. And again, the save draft button is the calculator for the GMS system. So this available remaining balance in box E should mirror this available remaining balance from the account form. And if it doesn't, you can call your program officer and we can help you work through what numbers, where, and what might have happened. But we are here to help you through this process. Let me just open this up a little bit more so we can see this. So then we move on to voting meeting decisions. And this is where I was talking about making sure that both of these forms are completed before you go into your voting meetings, because you want to know and you want to have an accurate accounting of the amount that you have for granting this fiscal year, because you don't want to undergrant and you don't want to overgrant. All right. So if there are any questions, as I said, we are all here to help support you. And again, it gives you some really good directions. So now we come to box F, which is what I was talking about before, about local funds that you want to keep. So let's say you want to do another program, you want to do a festival, the municipality gave you money, you raised money, but you don't want it to be part of the grant cycle. This is where that money goes in. And this is why we ask that all of the funds that the LCC is responsible for, allocations, fundraising, municipal money, if you received a festival grant, this is why all of the money has to be kept in one account, because all of these calculations helped to us to understand how much money you have for granting. So for this here, I'm saying we have 700 in local funds. We want to use that for something else. So we're going to keep it. so that when the final calculations happen, that money is not included in your amount available for granting for this year. So we take that box F, it matches and mirrors box F here, and we put in the $700. Now, each council has the opportunity, I'm going to change this actually back to 250. Each council has the ability to take administrative funds. So this is where you put in your administrative funds. So you can take up to 5% of your allocation. So in this case, we are going to take $250 because we might need that money for copies. We might need that money to possibly bring someone on to help us create a logo. So those are the things that you could use your administrative funds for. And then we're going to look at our FY24 allocation. Our FY24 allocation is $5,000. This box is going to be automatically populated. So this should already be in here for you. Your FY24 allocation should already be in here for you. The amount available for granting then is going to be this number, but this number here is now different from the number that's over here. So my town accountant is telling me I have $5,960, but I have $5,935. So I'm wondering what's going to happen if I hit save draft. That's why you need to hit save draft, because this, you might look at this and say, well, that's what I have amount available for granting. It's not matching what I have in my town accountant municipal officer sheet. So before you are trying to figure out why that number's different, make sure you hit the save draft button. So, and then you're going to confirm your email address, and I put that in here. You're going to save draft again because it's always great to save draft. And then you're going to submit this. It's going to ask you, are you sure you want to proceed with this? Are you sure you want to submit this? And you're just going to say yes. So now you know that you have the amount that you have for granting. And it's going to, once you submit it, it's going to bring you back to your home page. Now, I want to show you, because one of the questions is also, you have the ability to also take 20% of your FY24 allocation for a council program. And the council program calculation comes in under the grant decision tab. All right. So, and we're going to do a whole other webinar on grant decisions in October, but I just wanted to show this to you. Again, really great instructions that are given to you on this tab, but you're going to open up your grant decisions once you have had your voting meetings and you making your decisions. You're going to put in your voting dates, and you're going to make sure you have a quorum. But right here in this area where it says council program, this is where you're going to say, is your council doing a program? Yes, it is. And then it's going to say, put in the 20% of your current allocation or some semblance of that. It doesn't have to be the full 20%. But this is where that amount is going to go in. And once you put that amount in, it's going to calculate with the decisions that you make on your applications, and it's going to calculate that number and take that out of the amount for your allocation, right? So it's not an additional, your FY24, your 20% of your FY24 allocation isn't a separate amount of money than your calculated amount available for granting final number is. It's part of that. So if you take 20% of your allocation and that's $500, that, let me go back here. Yes, if I go back here to my financial reporting, I open this and I go to calculate amount available for granting, that $700 or that $500 that you want for a council program is going to come out of this amount of money, the 5,960. So you just have to remember that when you're doing that. Okay. So, so that's sort of the tutorial on doing the LCC account form. I also want to bring your attention to, we have a ledger template that is on the website. If you want to keep track of, the granting that you're doing for FY24, it's a great tool, and you can find it in the online toolkit. There's also a grant tracking spreadsheet that's in the toolkit. Basically, your applicant, the project, the amount that was approved, whoever is the treasurer who is keeping track of the grants over the course of the over the year. It's sort of helpful to have this so that when you meet with your town accountant or municipal fiscal officer next year, you'll be able to say, you'll have kept track of all the grants that are going in and out. And then there's the municipal meeting prep sheet that mirrors the account form that is also available, and you can also find that in the toolkit. So, like I said, if you have not met with your fiscal municipal officer, if they have not received the account form, if you have any questions or issues and can't get in touch with them, or you're not quite sure, please reach out to your program officer. We can help facilitate that and make sure that you're on track and you're getting ready for your grant approvals and your grant decisions. So just some best practices for the financial forms. It's great to receive regular reports about your activity from your municipality. You're meeting with them about FY23. You're going to know what's gone in and out of your account in FY24. You might want to make one last check for your program as you're making grant decisions, just to make sure you have the right amount of money. And I just want to say too, the calculating amount available for granting is not locked. So that is something that if you get money in before the grant cycle is over, before you have your approval, your grant meetings, we can shift that. So if that happens, again, let us know. The establishing a clear process with your municipality for reimbursement funds is really important, as well as direct grants. For those of you who are direct grant councils, making sure that you have the direct grant agreement, the W-9 forms is important. And if you need any help in getting those forms, please reach out again. And then just tracking your expenditures and your revenue through your own tracking that we've shown you. And then, as well as unencumbered funds. One thing I will say before we go to Q&A is in the chat is that right now, if you have a large number of funds, a large amount of funds that are encumbered because applicants or approved applicants, grantees have not submitted reimbursements or their direct grant paperwork for fiscal year 23, it's always really good practice to email those recipients to ask them if they're going to be doing their program, if they're going to be using their funds, because if they are not, and you can get that information before you have your grant meeting, then you can roll those funds into the FY24 grant cycle. You can unencumber them and make sure that they become part of the grant cycle so that you have more funding for this year. So I think that's about it for us now. But if you have any questions, I'm sure you do, we're here to answer them. Great. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight, for spending the time with us to learn about this. This is being recorded. It will be on our YouTube site. And again, I think it's just really important that that the lines of communication between your program officers and your municipality are really important. We are really excited about what you're all going to be doing this year and the granting that you're going to be doing. And we're here always to support you. So thank you so much for coming. It's greatly appreciated.